what's up there, fruitcake? I'm looking for paint work.
Who's this?
This is Mike.
Who? Mike who?
Mike the rookie. You got paint work for me or what?
Oh.
Well, it says here in the ad that you need paint work and you got paint work and all that shit. What do we got there?
Oh, they made a mistake in that ad.
Oh, yeah? Well, you don't got no work for me.
Oh, you don't understand. See what it says on the situations wanted?
Yeah.
Yeah, they made a mistake. A lot of people been calling me for, but I'm looking for work.
Hey, I know what it's like.
You paint in the union?
I don't go with that union shit, you know what I mean? I paint everything. I paint my car, paint everything.
You're like me, I'm looking for work myself,
I just did some job on my car. Beautiful. I used a roller there, the paintbrush came out beautiful.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, I'm good. So you got no paint for me, huh?
I'm not working myself. I'm looking for work.
What about taping?
Nothing.
Yeah, huh?
I'm sorry,
Yeah, I hear you, fruitcake. You gotta help me out, though, if you could.
I would.
You couldn't help me, though, huh?
No, 'cause I'm not working myself.
Oh, I paint my toenails, everything. Paint the walls. I'm silly. I love it. They call me Rubberneck.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, what do you say we get together and paint each other up?
Yeah, forget about it.
Hey, we're good like that, right? Paint the town, night on the town, right, Mike? What do you say, Bill?
Give me your number.
All right. You ready, Chief?
Yeah. Are you in the city?
Yeah. 5785.
What part of the city you live?
Down in the village area there.
Oh, you're way downtown.
Yeah, oh, shoot. Way downtown, fruitcake. Look, any help you can give me, I appreciate it.
Yes, I will.
Okay, Sizzle Chest?
What's your name?
My name is Mike. Okay? I appreciate it.
Okay, something comes along.
Hey, God bless us all, huh? God bless you, babe.
Okay, take...
Wish you luck in the future. Say your prayer.
Thank you.
Okay, see you later, fruitcake.
Okay, bye.
The sun is shining, oh happy day. No more troubles and no skies of gray. Ever since you said those words to me, you said you loved me, I know it's true. My life's complete, dear, for now I have you. Oh, happy day, oh, lucky me. The moon is shining, oh happy night. Come to me, darling, and hold me oh so tight. I need your lovin', really, yes I do. You said you loved me, I know it's true. My life's complete, dear, for now I have you. Oh, happy day, oh, lucky me. Oh, happy day, oh, lucky me.
Where did it go? ready to go.
Let's run it, stick!
Have clearance, Clarence. Roger, Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Hey now. DJ Dunkin Dad in the house, spinning the tunes tonight. Pretty soon, dude, we're going to have a 2-hour intro and like a 5-minute show.
That works.
Works for me. It does, right? I mean, what else do we have to do? Oh, I got to get rid of the video, huh? There we go. Hey, there we are.
Hey, welcome to the show, everybody.
Yes, welcome to the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network, Mice Media. I don't even know what the hell we call this anymore, but it is very, very cool. We got Bryn Davis. What is are you the Emperor, Vice President, CEO?
The fucking maestro, brother. In my world, a lot of it's led with Twitter handles and different PFPs or avatars, and that's how it started off. But everybody in our community also knows me personally, and I not anonymous by any stretch, so pretty transparent. Go by Bryn as well.
I like motherfucking Maestro. What do you think of that? You should change your Twitter name to that.
That's right.
Yo.
Nick Flick, how are you?
What's going on, bro? How you guys doing tonight?
We are all good, man. We got a lot to unpack. And Bryn, you've been. How many shows did you do today?
A bunch, man. We just did a huge one with Joe and Eric and Tony and all the guys over at No Filter, which was great. And then we do a ton of stuff in our world, so it's a lot of Twitter Spaces. We have some big events coming up in the U.S. and over in Europe that we're doing some public speaking. So based off the success of last week in our world, a lot of doors opened very quickly.
All right, so I have to ask all three of you, and I already saw some in the chat. How epic was that intro? People said it was epic. It was long, but the longer the intro, the less show we have to do. It makes it easier. We get to go home early. But did you, Bryn? Did you see the intro? Did you catch the mice?
The whole thing. I caught the whole thing. I loved it, and if it's anything like a Twitter Space or anything else, I think it gives people time to get in. I think it was perfect. I wouldn't change a damn thing.
Beautiful. That's what she said to Antonio Brown. Anyway, not to me, but
yeah, that guy's out of control.
All right, so hey, let's start. I got a lot of questions here, and Duncan's on a hard out. I didn't know what he texted me. He had a hard out. He's got shit to do tonight, so
not a hard on, a hard out. Yeah, you have to bring him up to speed with the 20.
I had the second century. I think he's English, dude. I don't know what you're saying here.
My kids walk around all the time like, Dad, I'm AFK right now. I'm like, what does that mean? I'm away from the keyboard. I can't play the game right now. Come on, Dad. Come on, Dad. I'm like, all right. So how about you do your math homework? Let's start there.
All right. So we all know, and if this is your first time watching the show, welcome. Knock. We may bring you on later for some questions. Duncan, you're monitoring the chat, right?
I'm in the chat. I'm a chat machine.
All right, cool. Beautiful. My record is 27 or 26, 7-1 in my NFL locks this year, including last weekend. I had a great weekend. I was 4-2, but then Duncan pointed out he went 5-1 this past weekend on his NFL locks.
I was with you, AJ, 4-2.
4-2. How did Jacksonville win that game? There was a point at the end of the first period where I tweeted out, if you have Jacksonville plus 70 right now, you're in good shape.
I made a couple dollars on Jacksonville.
Did you make money on Jacksonville?
I have faith in Doug Peterson. I had faith in the Jacksonville defense. So
okay.
I rolled with that. I think they've got a little something going on right now.
Bryn, are you a big football guy? I know you got to be an Eagles guy because you're a Phillies guy, but are you a big football guy or just an Eagles type of?
No, I'm a big football guy. This year was I was definitely the most, had the most in the peripheral going on, but mostly an Eagles guy, definitely an NFL guy, maybe more of an NBA guy.
Really? A Sixers
guy? Sixers.
Of course, I'm a Sixers guy. Yeah, and I think Philadelphia is a basketball city, is almost as much as it is a football city. I think in terms of playing sports in high school and college. I didn't play, but the high school and college scene for basketball is pretty robust in the Philadelphia area.
Really? But over the Eagles?
Yeah, man. If I had to say go an NBA championship or a Super Bowl, I think I would say NBA championship.
Really?
Yeah, man. I can't help it.
But doesn't Philly? I mean, when the team is bad, don't the Philly fans kind of lay low? But when the team is good, whether it's the Flyers, the Phils, the Eagles, or
all entirely wrong. I think we're louder and a little bit more ruckus comes when the team's not good. I think that's kind of our MO. I think we like hating as much as we love loving. That's what makes us special.
I've never seen long story short, I grew up a Yankees fan. I switched over to be a Phillies fan 5 years ago. It's a long story, but now on Twitter, I watch the Philly game. I'm a big baseball guy. I've never seen such bipolar fans in my life because one pitch, they can want to burn the stadium down, and the next pitch, they're in love with the team. They're absolutely crazy, Philly fans. I love them.
I think what's great about that, and where you can view this through sort of like the microscope of the Philadelphia fan, is that it's this totally on board, engaged community all the time. If something is really good, it gets pushed to the forefront. If something's really bad, it gets talked about, and then it kind of gets, put over here. We'll bitch about it a little bit, but we want to push what's good and push what's good. And, Mice, what they're trying to do is the same thing. It's like, we're going to get everybody involved. We're going to get everybody on board. And if you got something going, that's awesome and that's hot, shit, that stuff's going to skyrocket. If it's not so much, you know what? A little bit of chatter, but we're not going to, what I'm saying? Let's push it. Let's push it. So this whole community thing, I mean, coming from the East Coast, coming from Philly, coming from, where we are passionate about everything that we do, from where we get our cheesesteaks, where we get our coffee, where we, which diner we think is the best. It's just this whole thing is taken off. And it's amazing that you said that because, I'm that Phillies fan. I'm that guy. I'm the guy that Rhys Hoskins comes up and he gets on that tear for 2 weeks in July and he's hitting doubles every day. He's raking. I'm loving Rhys Hoskins. And then he shows up and he can't catch a ground ball and I'm burying him, but I want that. I that's the kind of love that I want. You know what I mean? I want you to praise me when I'm doing well. I want you to be constructive. I want you to criticize me. I want you to help me get better, when I'm not doing well. So I don't know, man.
You're all a bunch of psychos. I grew up going to Yankee games in the South Bronx in the 70s and 80s where your car would probably have no tires and be on fire when you came out to the parking lot. No brakes, no nothing. I went to Philly's home opener a few years ago. I had never seen tailgating at a baseball game like that. I mean, shit was on fire. People were fighting. It was April 1st. It was like 4 degrees outside, and they were tailgating like it was the Super Bowl for Philly's home opener.
Yeah, the Phillies tailgate's not bad. I got arrested at a Phillies tailgate for underage drinking because it was so wild and it was an undercover cop. Who's undercover at a baseball game? But anyway,
who does that? Who does that? Who does that?
Only Philly games do that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Must have been when like John Street or Nutter were like the.
It was when John Street was there, man.
There you go.
Yeah, it was back in like 2000, whatever.
Yeah. Rendell doesn't play that. Rendell be out there drinking with you.
No, he'd be fine. But it's interesting what you guys say, and I'm not. But when you talk about Duncan's talking about community, right? I think the reason that it's easy to have these conversations when it's a sports oriented show or it's with Tony, it's with those other guys is. When you think about a brand like the Eagles or a brand like the Yankees, because they're brands, right? They're franchises, they're brands. You don't. When you think of those teams, all that nostalgia that comes up, right? Aside from the individual product itself, those teams are epitomized by their fans. When you think of Philadelphia sports, you don't always think about the ownership of the team. You don't think about you think about that community and that fan base. And I think that's what's really cool about the way of building a business this way or building a media network this way is when it's defined by the culture of the community, it's so much deeper and more fun and more inclusive than being about just that upper echelon of ownership or whatever. Sports are just a great example of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It had a really cool feel last year being a Phillies fan. I got to tell you that from June on. No, it felt really, really cool early on. And Bryn, I know that Lenny is a friend or an acquaintance of yours. So early on last season when the Phillies and Girardi were just tanking, I sent Lenny's Twitter account a tweet being a joke. I said, hey, are you interested in managing the Phillies starting tomorrow? So the reply back is classic Lenny reply on Twitter. How much does it pay? And is there a drug test involved? And from there, it took off to the point where we had a rally scheduled at Dolan's bar and Lenny was going to come to town and there were people tweeting this like crazy. I don't remember if it was ESPN or CBS. Somebody picked it up and wrote an article about Dykstra wanting to become the manager. Could you imagine that?
No.
Not in the condition that dude's in. That the whole thing be a wreck.
Yeah, but the reason with Lenny, I didn't know Lenny until recently. It's not like he's a long time friend by any stretch. But we talked to him on air, and I talked to him through text and personally or whatever. And what does get me excited, or what I do love about Lenny, what intrigues me about him is his spirit, right? Because if you go back before the Lenny, the headline Lenny, right? The Lenny in high school, where the scout showed up. I think it was the Mets scout showed up at his high school tryout, and they asked where Lenny was to Lenny because they couldn't believe that the guy was 5'8" or whatever he is, and was the scouted player that he was. And he said, "I'm Lenny fucking Dykstra, and I'm the best fucking player here, whatever." That will to win is, I think, what carries through. Maybe got a little bit out of control, but like anything he does, a lot of times he wins the game. He told me was to win the game before it starts, and that's what he tried to do. But if he wasn't in the position he's in right now, right, and he was the full Lenny, I do think that kind of spirit can fucking do anything. Not in the spot he's in now, but he's a brilliant man got some stuff going on, but he's a brilliant dude.
He's an all in or all out. There's no in between with Lenny.
Only north.
I admire that
north.
part.
Yep.
No.
Oh. All right, so let's throw this out there to you Philly guys. I know Nick, you really don't have skin in the game now in the NFL, but the Eagles and the Giants. Now, I had assumed that the Eagles are just going to steamroll the Giants, but a big time Philly guy told me yesterday he's not so sure. So what are your thoughts from you Philly guys?
I mean, I don't know. At the beginning of the season, I got a bunch of brothers and we're on a big group text, and everybody gave their predictions. My predictions for the Eagles at the beginning of the year was to be 8-12. So I was fantastically wrong. And everything has gone so out of sort for the Eagles for me, and everything has gone so well recently. I think we got it. I think we can take them. I think we can take the Giants for a third time. What do you think, Duncan?
Yeah, I don't think you tried to recreate the wheel in this game. I think you just go out, you play your game, and they take care of business. I mean, Daniel Jones is playing at a higher level. Saquon Barkley's a little healthier, running around. But, if you put the game in Jones's hand and make him beat you by throwing the ball, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. They've had problems this year with, unfortunately, like scrambling quarterbacks that when shit is broken down for whatever reason, like Tannehill cut them up for a couple yards. The kid from Indianapolis cut them up for a little bit. It's things like that. But it's just one of those instances where just don't outthink the room. You're the better team. You have better talent. You're, far superior at the skill positions. Go out, play your game. It's a division game. You're going to get, back and forth for a little bit, but, it'll open up and, they'll probably win by, 10, 11 points. It won't be as close. They'll cover. I think it's like 7.5. Yeah, they'll cover
man.
7.5.
Like I told y'all last week, them Giants have been scraping away, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they've been doing it. Daniel played a good game last Sunday. Really good. He was running the ball like a madman himself.
Yeah, this is
plays.
This is 2 weeks worth of rest. I mean, even Gannon.
Sometimes rest isn't good, dude.
Yeah, they needed it though. This team needed it. They definitely needed rest.
Sometimes rest hurts you.
I got the Eagles covering.
Daniel Tiger says rest is best, man. Rest is best.
I got the Eagles covering -7.5. That's my first. Duncan, you said covering. Nick, you taking the Giants to cover this?
Homer.
I mean, I got the Eagles circled. I ain't gonna lie. I got the Eagles circled here, but I don't know. I just think the Giants have been playing pretty good, and they've been.
So you're hedging your bet. All right, Nick is hedging his bet. That's what he's saying.
I'm on the fence.
Bryn, do you want to go on record with a pick here? We do this, and we roll pretty good. We got a following of people that they can at least buy a pack of cigarettes with the money they're making off our picks.
I think they objectively, I would tell you. I said 8 and 12 in the beginning. I think they cover handily. I think this is going to be one of those ones where you get so much momentum coming out of the game, you think they're going to just ride right through the Super Bowl. I think they take it by at least 10.
All right, cool. There we got it. So we got 3 Eagles. We don't know. Nick. We'll get back to you.
I'm going with the Eagles. I got them circled here. So
we got 4 Eagles right here. Bryn, I have some questions because I've been watching you and listening to you for weeks now, and I had a conversation with you on the treadmill the other day. And I don't want to go down the road that we went down and that you've been talking about for hours upon days and weeks. Yeah. But I want to find out a little bit about you, and I think people want to know a little bit. So we have a lot in common. You used to own restaurants, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
I fucking love restaurants. That's one of my favorite things. What kind of restaurants do you have? What's that? Gotta have food?
Yeah. Fat ass mode, I said.
That's right. No, so I got done college, or I was in college, and I saw. I'm not a chef. I'm not a food guy. I'm not even a restaurant guy, and that sounds crazy, but I'm not. I was never a great restaurant owner at all. When I was in college, I saw, that was back in 2000. Let's just say 2001. And there's this big gap in the marketplace where, everybody was moving and doing a lot more things, but there was no healthy options. It was just your McDonald's. If you wanted to drive through and get food in 5 minutes, you had to go through a McDonald's, a Wendy's, Burger King, whatever. So I thought, why not kind of flip the script and infuse that with all healthy options? And, I started at 23 years old. I'm 38 now. So it was like a 14-year run. We started off, I had no money at all. And if you're from Philadelphia, I started, I didn't have any capital. I thought we raised some, but we didn't. The guy backed out. So I wrote a letter to Pat Croce, the guy who used to own the Sixers. And in fact, Pat was like the Mark Cuban before Mark Cuban. He was like close to a billionaire at the time. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to get this guy's attention. So I knew that Pat was a huge pirate collector. He's the biggest pirate collector in the world. So I bought this treasure chest. I wrote this big letter, burnt the edges, put it in there, had it sent to his house so that when he opened up the treasure chest, it all came out. It was wild. And, his advice was start as small as possible because the mistakes are cheaper when you start with just proving that minimum viable product. So we started with just smoothies and popcorn and $12,000 to open the first restaurant. And then that catapulted into getting to around 10 restaurants in Philadelphia area. And at that point, opening restaurants is cool, but it wasn't that excitement. It wasn't that thrill. It was the same thing, opening restaurants over and over again, which was great. But I wanted to do something a little bit different. And I thought, why not give this same opportunity in areas where there is an opportunity? And we just jumped and we opened up our next location, whatever number it was at the time, in Entebbe, Uganda, which was, kind of in like, East Africa or whatever. So we started doing these giving stores at that point, and building it and then just handing it off to an entrepreneur there and not taking any money from it. And, as that was all going on, that was when the pandemic hit, and, our city restaurant had to be closed. The pandemic, the mandate was you could be open, but you couldn't have people sit inside. So you could only do takeout. And it was just horrible. Wasn't, I was a brand builder. I love the hospitality. I love that whole side of it. And, I was sitting there and I was thinking, do I spend the next 5 years just to get back to where we were? Right. Or is this an inflection point where it's time to look into something that I'm actually passionate about? That's not food. I wasn't a food guy. And that's when, Tony was I've loved Tony for 15 years. And, what was going on in media at that time was something that I was very passionate about. So it was time to pivot and do things differently.
So when you did you sell the restaurants, or did they just shut?
No.
Or?
So at that point, we were, when the pandemic hit, we were at X amount of units. We actually had 3 in development, and the 3 that we were in development, those investors were like, "Hey, this is horrible time." I didn't blame them. I agreed. So those stopped. Partner in 2 of them, same thing. The Philadelphia one was forced to close down. So we were down to a couple anyway. So to be honest, it was an opportunity where, it was okay to exit. Right. I think everybody we had gone on that crazy run, and it was a time to either exit or, really, really hunker down. And to me, it was time to pursue something as a man at 38 rather than a guy at 22, and really hone in on what I cared about and what I wanted to do for the next leg of my career.
So did you have an exact plan when you said, all right, we're done with the restaurants, I'm done, I'm going to move on? Was there a plan, or was there a plan to come up with a plan?
No, there's always a plan, right? So like, to me, I was sitting in the restaurant one day. I went from having our office and going into the restaurants every now and again to actually being in the restaurant nonstop. And that wasn't, not that I didn't like it, but it just wasn't what I was great at. And I had started reading a magazine, and I had heard about these bored apes. This is honestly what I read about, these bored apes. And, I'm reading about this project that put out pieces of art, and a culture was created around it, and it gained value. And then at that point, they had just raised money and were worth $4 billion. And I didn't even care about the money. It just proved that this is something real. And looking at it from a business perspective, and not from being in NFTs or Web3, I didn't even know those things were yet. It was, okay, so they put out art, and then they created this culture around it. What if, I went to an existing community, an existing culture, an existing set of people, and gave them a space in this world, right? To tap into that community that already exists. And to me, it was, we were at the height of cancel culture at that point in time. People were being kicked off Twitter. This is before Elon, kicked off Twitter and silenced. It was, the media was more centralized and owned by a few than ever before. And there were so many people that felt that way. So I thought, why not tap into that group, which is where my belief system is. And number 2 is, instead of just being a community, let's have that community build something with these assets, with these digital assets. Let's create a community that builds a media network. And to me, the problem with media is largely the corporate networks that own them, right? That condense power in the hands of a few. So it happened to be a technology that was perfect for media as well. So I left, started from scratch, like financially as from scratch as you could possibly imagine, and started putting together this plan. I did some tech advising, in the meantime, to pay bills, and just, worked 24/7 into learning as much as I could, connecting as much as I could, and building as much as I could. And that led into, us starting really last week in that outward facing movement.
Awesome. All right, you're on another level, man. The pandemic put me out of business. And I sat on my couch without a plan, just knowing I had to make a plan. And then I came up with the plan. I'll clean people's water. That was it.
No. What is it? What's it like? Necessity breeds creativity, right? I also have, I'm older, but I have a 1-year-old daughter, and that's my only biological child. So, there's obviously from that, there's even more oomph to get to make things happen and, pull it together and do something. And I think the opportunity to do something I cared about, I think I did look at it as like, there's only so many times in life where, the stars align. Like, you could look at it as like, oh God, I just lost the business I thought I'd have for my whole career. I just lost my brand. I just did this. But at the same time, there was that opening where the world was quiet for a little bit, right? you could reassess and, could I find some diamonds in the rough and rub them together and make some fire? And, I thought I'm going right back after it. At one point I thought, you take a few years and you figure out what you want to do next, but it's just not in my blood. I've never worked for, the only brand I ever worked for besides myself was I interned for Disney. Disney was a phenomenal experience, and I worked at a radio station as an intern. Other than that, I worked for myself. So I don't know any different.
Please tell us that when you interned for Disney, you had to wear the Mickey costume and walk around the park.
I was a space ranger, my friend. I worked at Space Mountain with a bunch of other interns, and dude, that was one of the best experiences of my life. Working for, I love the idea of like, I'm not a roller coaster fan or anything like that. I'm not a Disney fan in that sense. The fact that one man's idea manifested into something so large, that is what just crushes me every time. That's the emotional connection to the brand. So that's really, why I love that brand so much.
So what can you tell us about all those secret tunnels underneath the park?
Oh, dude, those are real. That's no joke. And it's not underneath. All of Disney, the Disney park itself, Magic Kingdom, is the second floor of a building. So like when I would get in, and they're incredibly careful about like what information you take out and take in. You have to take 2 different buses just to get there. And then you go in, what's cool is you show up for work. We could all show up for work like we're dressed right now. They do all the laundry for you. So you go into this big place, they give you your clothes, you're all underground, and then you pop up. I mean, there's rules like if you're wearing I worked at Space Mountain, I was in Tomorrowland, but I couldn't pop up in Fantasyland. I couldn't pop up in Frontierland because then a kid would see a space ranger in Frontierland? It doesn't make sense. So like that brand etiquette and sticking to that culture. I mean, you either went there to intern and you left and you fucking loved it, or you absolutely thought you were going there for vacation and hated it. I went in knowing it was like military boot camp before a corporation.
What do you mean popped up? Like Shakira, like a Super Bowl coming out of the floor?
Yeah, but those tunnels were designed to get to each of the area of the park faster or something. I think.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. Right? So you pop up. Like when I say pop up, like so if I worked in Tomorrowland, there'd be entrances right near where you need to get out. You couldn't go on the other side of the park and walk across the park dressed out of character. So yeah, all that little stuff. And like when I went there, just seeing things like Pat Croce. When I got there, it was Michael Eisner that ran the company with Lee Cockrell and another guy underneath. And I wrote letters by hand to all the executives trying to like get some FaceTime. Ended up getting some FaceTime with Lee, who ran all of Orlando. And that is a relationship I still have today. So it was a cool network building experience.
What's great is Michael Eisner's going to be writing you a letter soon, wanting to FaceTime with you.
Dude, I would love it, man. Eisner was the magic behind it. Walt built a park and all that. Eisner turned it into everything we know of Disney now. He was a magic man too.
All right, can you do me one favor? I will clean your water for the rest of your life, but if he writes you this letter and you agree to meet with him in one of the tunnels and take me and my kid. We'll just stand there. We won't say anything. But we got to be in the tunnels.
Don't ever take your kid down there, because you go down into the tunnels and you'll see like a Mickey head, like the costume on the ground. But what's bizarre is with the brand culture with Disney is you'll see that, right? And it's kind of, and one of your friend's roommates is actually the person who's in that costume. However, the second that costume's on, even the people that work there are all talking to Mickey as if it's this fictitious. It's like the weirdest culture you could ever imagine. It's like they're sprinkled with pixie dust. It's the corporate buy-in is just unreal.
All right, so college kids interning, underground secret passageways. How much shenanigans is going on under there?
Dude,
I heard a lot.
The year before I got there, Playboy this back when Playboy was bigger, the magazine was huge and all of that. They did their top 10 party schools, and the Disney college program had been, I think, number 2 or 3 in their top 10. And after that, they shut it down. That being said, it was college without classes. Like everybody partied, you'd wake up, you'd work at an attraction, and then you'd go home. And it was like euphorically fun, like bizarrely fun. And there's so many international students. It was like a big party.
Did you ever see Antonio Brown running around in nothing but a Mickey head down there?
No, but the cool thing about Disney is everybody that's famous has to go to the same Disney. There's not a special Disney for famous people. So like every day there's famous people that come through. So like back then, Michael Jackson, like he would rent the park at night. So some nights it would just the whole fucking place would be for Michael Jackson and his entourage, and you could like. There's also really cool people like Evander.
What's something like that cost for the night?
Dude, I used to
do
know.
something ridiculous like that.
Now it would be because that was 20 years ago, so numbers were so different. But I know you could, if you run just Tomorrowland, it was something like 40 grand or 100 grand. Those two numbers pop out. But Michael Jackson was just on a different planet. Like that was he was like bigger than a megastar to even Disney.
Icon.
Yeah, he was just another level. Yeah.
No
So
doubt.
if like Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch and their kids show up, 9 o'clock in the morning when the park is open, are they getting special access under the tunnels to the other side to avoid getting mobbed?
The only special access they get is Disney's rule is that every single guest should have the same, nothing's bigger than Disney. So every guest should have the same Disney experience. If you're so big that you're not able to have that experience, then they'll give you special access because you're not able. So it's not like they're catering to them so much as like for one of the weird ones is Bruce Springsteen. He was one of the few, and I'm not a Bruce Springsteen fan. I don't really know much about Bruce Springsteen. He was one of the ones that would come in through the back door, and Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq was another one because he's so fucking big. He stands out. He couldn't put on a baseball
couldn't miss
cap
him.
and blend it. No.
You couldn't miss
he
that guy.
had the
if you
best
tried.
reputation, man. Everybody, he was so good to people. His reputation was just enormous with cast members.
Wow. So when you're interning there, and I didn't expect any of this, but this kind of fascinates me.
Yeah.
So you're interning. You're coming. I'm assuming from Pennsylvania down to Orlando. You're spending the summer. Are they putting you? Is there like a Disney hotel for the interns, or
it's a system, man. It's like so they bought a bunch of old resorts at that point in time, and they turned these resorts into just
housing
where all the college kids work. So I went down there, and did I drive down? I don't even remember how I got down there. I guess I flew. Yeah, I flew down there, and my roommates were from all over the country, but it was Brian, Bryn, Brett, and Jose. That was my five roommates. And the crazy part is I lived with a Mexican dude, and it wasn't Jose. It was an amazing experience, and it was but it was like just wall to wall college kids with no classes.
And is the college intern resort the equivalent to say the boardwalk or the contemporary?
No, it's not that nice, but it's nice enough. And like, so they put you up in the housing. It's to me, I thought it was great. I mean, I was just a normal kid, so I thought it was awesome. But like a basic resort kind of thing. I guess there is a pool, but it was packed. But back then it was $6 an hour, but you're in Florida, so there's no state tax. $6 an hour, and they take your rent out of your pay. So it was like everybody was broke. This was back like I didn't know any like rich kids that got. Everybody was broke, barely eating and spending all their money on beer. It was a good time. It was an iconic time in the early 2000s.
How long did you do it? Just one summer?
Yeah, I went. You're supposed to go for 6 months. There was a girl from Texas who had an accent from Texas. I was smitten. I tried to extend my trip. I did. My mom didn't react too well, so I came back. So I was there like 7 or 8 months. Never talked to her again. Never.
Way to go, Mom.
And I never
Your mom, not the girl. No.
Nothing happened. I didn't get any ass. It's not like I was like, no. I was just. It was the pursuit of the ass that got me, and it didn't go anywhere.
I actually have your song. You went. What was the girl's name? The first name?
Katie from Texas.
Yeah, Katie from Texas sent us a message. She said this was your song.
Yeah.
I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you come from?
Anyway, Jacksonville pulls that game out of their ass somehow, and then they go to the Waffle House. That right there is epic. Did you guys see that?
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yep, I saw that.
Right.
Yeah,
that is. So now Jacksonville's got to go into Kansas City, and Kansas City is -8.5. Where are we at?
Chiefs are taking that.
Yeah. See, I don't know. Peterson knows Reed's offense. I mean, obviously it's Mahomes. Conventional logic says you take the Chiefs at home.
Oh, no doubt.
But
It's
I
playoff
think,
time though. Mahomes ain't playing.
Yeah, I don't think you play around with that too much. It's sort of like the Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And plus, Andy's
But
like
yo,
what?
man,
He's like,
good
he's
good
like
run for the
17-2 coming
Jags
off a
though.
bye, something like that in his
Yeah,
career.
but good run for the Jags though. But it's gonna end though.
Yeah.
It's going to end, and it's going to be horribly painful for Jacksonville.
But hey, man, you gotta give it credit, man, to Trevor Lawrence, man. In what 2 seasons, 3 seasons, he's that coach has developed an offense to go around his talent and what he can do. And dude, I didn't think that would be, Trevor would be playing at the level he's playing at, this fast. I thought maybe another season or two, but they're playing good, man. The coaches,
They
like I
did.
said,
I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying it's over.
Oh no, it is over. Like I said,
If this-
Mahomes is another dude in the playoffs. He's a different kind of guy,
If this is a boxing match, this thing's over in 3 rounds.
Yeah.
That's my. Bryn, you got anything on this one?
I don't think that. I think it's. I think the Chiefs take it. They cover. I don't think it's even a game. I think it's a nice run for the Jaguars, but I don't think there's any chance.
Absolutely, I think it's a real good run.
Yeah, I'm excited to see if Duncan. I know you're from Philadelphia, and like deep down, I kind of want to see the Cowboys win that game, only because to see the Eagles and the Cowboys.
Oh, in Philly for the NFC Championship.
We did not get to that game yet. We didn't get to that game yet, and that is my team, and that is my Super Bowl winning pick. Bryn, I know you kind of own the company, and you're the boss now or something. But I will pull Howard Stern, and I don't know whatever Howard Stern did to his.
Duncan,
boss.
I'm hearing a dude that's a Yankees fan, a Cowboys fan. Like Jesus Christ, like come on. I need some continuity.
He's got that Yankees, Cowboys, Niners, Duke, Lakers shit going on,
Is he a Lakers? Is he really a Lakers fan too?
Who?
AJ, you can follow basketball?
The silence. He's
me.
Like,
You're talking about me?
Yeah.
I'm not a Yankee fan. I grew up in New York, New Jersey, so I was a Yankee fan. But then we switched to Philly for sentimental, really personal reasons. I'm a 49ers fan. I was a kid in the 80s. Who do you go for when you're a kid? And you
Joe Montana.
You go for Joe
Whatever
Montana.
city you live in.
You followed your hometown team. Was Phil Sims not good enough for you?
Come on, man.
And look, the Giants were winning then. The Giants won it in 96, and they won it, or 86, and they won it in
86,
90.
yeah. Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker, Lawrence Taylor, Dave Meggett, Mark Bavard. I probably know more about the Giants than you do, and you live there. I was 8 years old.
I mean, your answer is that, but also, I guess you were if you were a Yankees fan in the '80s, the Mets had that team in '86, right. And if you were still a Yankees fan, then I mean, I guess you're loyal.
No. Let me.
Everyone
jumped on the '86 Mets bandwagon. Everyone, Yankee fans, it did not make a difference. You could not hate that team because they came to
scrap and they balled out.
Yeah, to kick your ass. What did Lenny women. Say? That's what Lenny said. I mean,
that's right. Lenny said we came to drink your beer, kick your ass, and your women.
Dude, I love that dude. And he means it. That's
yeah.
Like every sentence he says, he means.
I know. Well, that's debatable. But anyway, we'll leave that for another topic or another time. What is the Taylor Swift story? We have a request for the Taylor Swift story. What the hell's going on with Taylor Swift right now?
Oh man, where'd that come from?
She got heartbroken again?
Neo. I think Neo dropped it.
He got jumped again?
So when I worked in the only other job I had besides Disney was I worked in radio in Philadelphia as an intern. I didn't, but I was a very ambitious intern. And I worked my first summer. I worked my ass off. It was all good. We got paid in tickets, no money. So I got to meet a lot of crazy people. Second half of the summer, I got promoted into the business side of things. And my first day there, they were like, I was working at my desk trying to prove that I was, the best at whatever the fuck I was doing in the moment. And they came to my desk and said, hey, you want to come downstairs? There's a girl a couple years younger than you. She's playing in the studio. She could be something someday. You should come down and meet her. And I said, I'm working. I don't, I'm going to focus on this. I can't deal with that right now. It was fucking Taylor Swift. And dude, that was when I had swagger back then. I was when I was never a ladies' man, but if I was, it was in that 1 year of my life. And deep in my heart, I think I could have swooned her. She wasn't famous yet. I was a couple years older, and I missed my shot.
I was just gonna say you missed your shot.
I did. I didn't take my shot. Even worse. Like, I'd
Oh
rather take
no,
it
you
and
didn't
miss.
even take it.
No,
He
take
took
it and
himself
miss
out of the
it.
game before it even
Yeah,
started.
you took yourself. You threw the towel.
Yeah, there's honor in missing a shot. There's no honor in not taking your shot.
No,
So,
no. Hold on. Hang on. Where is that thing?
You know, you should. I think you could
You
reach out
threw
to
the
Taylor.
towel in.
Here, can you see this? Can you guys read that?
yes, amen. Exactly.
And the
If I
bummer
were
is,
down there,
I
would have shot my shot for sure.
Sure,
can
absolutely.
picture you like a Doug or Steve Mutabi when you were young. Is that how you rolled? The guys from the night at the Roxbury. Exactly.
I was pretty fucking. See, I don't drink anymore. I used to drink, and I was pretty fucking smooth. At least I remember it. From what I remember, I was smooth. I probably wasn't, but in my recollection, I was super smooth. But that all went out the door with age. I don't have that same touch anymore.
Yeah, you're right.
Right in that
My
studio
wife
and
tells
being
me,
like,
my
"You from
wife
out of
tells me all
town?"
the time. You used to be smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know how, and I also don't really even care to be smooth. So it's the whole thing doesn't really add up.
Yeah.
All right. So is there is this a coincidence that Mice Media is actually called Mice? And you interned at Disney? I mean, because I didn't know any of this Disney stuff before we started talking.
No,
but my question I
wondered
wrote
the
down
same
here is,
thing.
why mice? Why are we mice? Why are we not coyotes?
Not
Why are
only
we
is
not
it
rats?
Disney, but my whole life I was told by my brothers and everybody, and Taylor Swift's a perfect example. I was always into mousy-looking girls, like pointy, mousy girls, and then I worked at Disney, and now it's called mice. Do I have some kind of weird like fetish, maybe? No,
Maybe.
to me, it was as simple as this: is number one is that I think there is power in a community having some sort of symbol, right? And a lot of times that especially on as silly as it is, it's very powerful when you go onto a social media platform and it's dominated by one project or one mission or one movement. And to me, it was as simple as, if you think about it, if you have one mouse in your house, it's a little bit of an issue. But if you have mice, it's a fucking problem. And I think when we take on, by democratizing and decentralizing a media platform, and we're taking on somebody like corporate media, right? They can drown out the voice of an individual. But if you come like an army, it's hard to drown out an army. So the power of multiple versus one is unique when it comes to mice, right? One little mouse is nothing, but mice are a fucking problem. And you guys know what happened with Tony and the issues that he went through with, I think at that point he's working for Sirius. And similar things have happened to me at the tail end of my career as well. And a lot of times when you're in that position of being canceled, I wasn't famous, so I wasn't canceled. I was just forgotten or pushed aside or whatever it was. Is if your stage is taken from you, number one, like if you're deplatformed, you have no voice back. But even if you're not, even if your stage isn't taken, that when the masses come on you like that and they come at you like that, your voice can't be heard. And you're drowned out, even if your message is the correct message. So, before we even started, I had this vision of this dream of, when somebody is not treated fairly, and even if they said something wrong and made a mistake, which is a human thing, is to have that group come behind them and support them and to light up that Twitter feed with a united front so that even if there's more and those voices are louder, you can fight back in an organized fashion. So that's the reason that we chose mice.
I love what you said, because the only thing I heard was that we are going to be somebody's fucking problem. I like that.
I can't wait. I would love to see, because what's unique about media is, you're not just going whenever you go after somebody who has power or is used to having the power, it's an issue, right? Because they don't want to let go of that power. But it's unique because we're going after people with power that also control the narrative, because they have that microphone, they have the loudest voice. So what's going to come at us? It's not like I'm saying, when we go to war, it's not me trying to just rally the troops for fun. How are they going to pigeonhole us? The first article that came out said we were a political NFT. Couldn't be further from a political NFT, right? What are they going to say to try to, rock our ship? And it's our responsibility to not let that happen. That's why we have a community that's tight and we know what's going on. But dude, there's going to be a ton that comes our way, working with No Filter as well, where people aren't going to want to give up that stage. They're not going to want to give up the microphone. So we got to be prepped and ready.
All right. Let me I got a couple of more questions for you, but let's hit Buffalo, Cincinnati. All right. And I'll I will. I'll start it out because that's what I always do. Maybe I should just shut the fuck up and let one of you guys start it out. But I really thought Cincinnati was going to come into this thing and just steamroll everyone all the way to the Super Bowl game, and that obviously went out the window last week where they barely beat a team with no quarterback. You got Buffalo's given 5.5. So with that being said, about Cincinnati, Buffalo barely beat Miami, and Miami had no business being even in that game.
So Miami played pretty damn good. But I'm sticking with Buffalo.
That's Cincy money line. You sticking Buffalo minus 5.5?
Yeah.
Bryn, you got a feeling on this one?
McDermott's a Philadelphia guy. He went to my high school before me. I would love to say Buffalo, but I've gone with who's supposed to win. I've gone with every time. I think the Bengals take it. I think they take it outright.
Smoking Joe Burrow.
Double D.
Supposed to be rain with a little bit of snow, a mixed 35 degrees, precipitation kind of all over the place that day. I just think Cincinnati is built for this game. I think they've learned from last year. Joe Burrow is a phenomenal quarterback. He will take what you give him. He doesn't need to run. If they get to utilize Mixon a little bit, I don't see Buffalo keeping up with him. Gabe Davis is nice when he breaks free, but he's not going to get free against Cincinnati's back. Stephon Diggs, I'd love for him to show up for a game because he's killed basically every DFS fantasy stuff I've had for the last 4 weeks. He's been non-existent. But 6 for 116 finally after so many weeks. But I think that, like Bryn, I think that Cincinnati, they're going to win. Cincinnati's going to win. I love the story of Buffalo, love the Hamlin thing, all that kind of stuff. But Buffalo struggled against Miami, man. If any game they were going to be up for, if any game they were going to come out, be on fire, go aggressive, be after things, should have been last week. And they should have fine-tuned things going at it. And the fact that Cincinnati had a difficult game where they actually had to have this little war of attrition versus a division rival, really duke it out with an undermanned Baltimore team. I don't know, man. Joe Burrow's passes look crisp compared to Allen's passes last week. I think that there's too much for Buffalo to put a body on that offense. Mixon can catch the ball. Higgins can catch the ball. Boyd can catch the ball. Jamar Chase can catch the ball. He doesn't give a shit who he throws to. Somebody's open, he's open. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm a Joe Burrow apologist. I'm number 2 fanboy in his club. I just think he's cut from a different cloth. I just like the way he handles his business. So emotional or not, like Reese was saying, Cincinnati's going to win this game. May win by half a dozen. Won't be super duper blowout, but Cincinnati will take care of it. It won't be. We won't be sitting there with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter going, "Oh my God, is Buffalo going to come back and win this game?" It's going to be fairly secure at that point.
Yeah, I got Cincinnati as my, I guess my 1B lock. I love Cincinnati this week, but I don't love them as much as somebody else. So you get right before this show, Bryn, you guys announced this merger between Mice and No Filter. And I know you've been talking technical and NFTs and blockchain for freaking days and weeks, and it's going to be coming out of your ears, and you probably just want to not hear any more of that. So let me ask you this: for the people, first of all, for the people that are on No Filter now, before this merger, what is crazy cool about Mice now being involved?
So one thing, just to clarify, so it's a
partnership. I'm sorry,
a partnership. Yeah. So I don't want No Filter's rocking and rolling. There's nothing there. I think eventually the beauty is that partnership could turn into something where there's maybe more overlap, but there's no stepping on toes by any stretch. So I think what we bring is cool. The 2 things that I would say that to keep an eye out for is, number one, conventionally with media, you have listeners and viewers, which is amazing. I was a listener and viewer of Tony for 15 years, as well as a million other hosts. I was sports radio junkie, truly all through my teens, 20s, and early 30s. So the difference between a fan and a viewer is when you build a company where we don't have investors, we don't have corporate oversight, we don't have any of that. It's all built from the bottom up. So those listeners and fans they are the network, right? It's different. So like Tony's not someone that you're a fan of. Tony's a part of what you're building. So it's much more of a, we're really in it as one network that's building and creating that outward facing network to the public. So I think that the way that it feels and the support goes beyond just being a fan of somebody. But I think more noticeably is when you go to No Filter right now, you're met with a page and it shows you amazing sports content with amazing hosts, as well as all the people that create content themselves. When you go to Mice Media, right, we're built on the No Filter technology. We're using the No Filter infrastructure to build a network. So when you go to the Mice Media interface, I go back to the newspaper. People got the newspaper, they read it, everything was right there. They could close it and they were ready for their day. There's no place since tech has taken over and real-time news has taken over, there's no place to get that snapshot and then turn to page 7 and read more about what you want to read about. So we've created what we call a media ecosystem, right? It's portals. So when you go on, you'll get a snapshot from news, from sports, from tech, from finance, and from lifestyle or culture. And you'll see that snapshot of what's going on. And that's the dashboard that we've created. And then when you click in, let's say you want to look at sports or you want to look at news, it opens up that No Filter infrastructure where now I'm showing digital media, I'm showing written op-ed, and I'm also showing all these different experiences within that genre. So in sports, you guys know the deal, but when it comes to, let's say, news, right, that you're still going to see the digital content, you're going to see the aggregated content from the big boys, but you might see a debate between two people that are going to have a debate on a certain topic. You might see that there's a speaker coming in that's speaking to the media network, and you can go watch that event. So by organizing it up front so that it's not all in your face, you can really dive deep once they're in that individual portal. So that experience of media is going to be different, and it's going to be covering what a newspaper would cover. We're not a news network; it's a media network. So it's covering a lot more ground, I think, than what people would expect.
Tonight's show is sponsored by Digital Lux 22. If you need help building a website, if you're an influencer, if you own a small business and you're just getting started and you want to get the phone to ring, digitallux22.com. Masters in SEO, social media content, web design, blogging, you name it. Digital Lux 22, they can help you out. They're a sponsor for tonight's show. Last game on the list, Bryn already kind of jumped on this one, but San Francisco, Dallas. I love San Francisco. I love a 45-10 final score in this game.
Oh,
no team
goodness
is going to beat San Francisco. The Eagles, the Giants, the Dallas, everyone should just pack it up and go home now. This team has got way too many weapons. The defense is way too good. It doesn't matter. Bryn could quarterback the 49ers, and they will still win the Super Bowl. This team is just built. It does not make a difference. They are not losing.
I got the 49ers as well.
Thank you, sir.
I like Jimmy G.
Well, you like him sitting on the bench, or it don't matter. It don't matter where he's sitting. They're still winning, with or without him.
Yeah, no doubt. But the 49ers defense has been solid for the last few years, dude.
Yeah. But now they have so many weapons. Getting McCaffrey was the final piece.
Oh, that was money. That was a money move right there.
That was it. You go to Kittle, you go to Debo, you go to the other guy. I can't even say his name, but he's got 1,000 receiving yards this year. Their top receiver. You go to McCaffrey, doesn't make a difference. Now, Bryn, you said you want Dallas to win just so that you can see Dallas play the Eagles?
I want to build them up so we can knock them down. Absolutely. Right? Get their hopes up in Dallas and then beat the shit out of them. I mean, I think the 49ers are a better team. Just if based off nothing other than my gut feeling, I think Dallas wins. They have a huge NFC championship game. And I'll end on this because, like I said, I've been doing this, and my wife's from Georgia, the country, right underneath Russia. She's no fucking joke. And if I don't go downstairs and relieve her of her duties, I'm going to get shot. So
No
I
Borscht for you.
I think Dallas takes it. I think we take Dallas. And to anybody here, so in our world, it's a digital world, but we do in real life stuff, and we're holding an in real life event for the Super Bowl, a viewing party in Arizona, where everybody that has one of our NFTs is invited out, and it's on us. So if that happens and the Eagles go, Duncan, you better be there, and everybody's invited. Tony will be there. It'll be a good time. Nick, I don't know you too well, but the door's open. We're having the Mice Mansion, and the Mice Mansion's open to anybody. So
We'll be there.
I think Dallas takes
Sounds
it,
cool.
and then we take Dallas. But
Awesome. Bryn, we
Great-
are
great talking to you
excited.
guys.
Thanks, Bryn.
We're excited. Thank you for joining us. I
Dude,
appreciate
thank you.
it.
I appreciate it so much, and hopefully I get to see you guys again soon. And have
Absolutely.
a great night. Right on, guys.
Absolutely.
I'll talk to you soon.
Hey,
All
Bryn.
right,
Be
thank
safe.
you. Nice. Okay. This is pretty exciting. There's a lot of people watching tonight.
No, I didn't make a pick. I didn't
Make
think
your
the
pick,
49ers.
baby. You got the
You-
49ers?
No.
You taking Dallas?
Man, dude.
They're gonna bounce. This is like the racehorse. So the thoroughbred goes out.
No,
And
no.
he out of nowhere, he runs the race of his life. I'm talking about Dak Prescott. He was perfect. He couldn't have played a better game. Best game he
I
ever
know.
played in his life.
And then in the
It's gonna
stretch, they
bounce
die.
like a crazy ball. You ever get a crazy ball when you were a kid in one of them $10 machines and you bounce it, it goes over the
Right,
Empire
right.
State Building? Dallas.
You know what
is
I- you know what I
no
think,
shot.
though?
They're
You
gonna
know what I
get
think, though?
destroyed.
I think it's a little bit of a Brock Purdy, Smarty Jones action right now. Come out. He's the new flavor. Nobody knows what to do with him. When you line up and you got Epps on the other side and Micah Parsons on the other side, and they start getting in your grill, that's a little different. That's a little different. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how he's going to react to that kind of pressure. Dallas played pretty solid. I mean, they were all over Tampa Bay. I mean, I've never seen Brady. I mean, Brady looked every bit of 45 years old.
Tampa Bay's a terrible team. They had no
I know
business
they're a
even
terrible
getting in
team.
the playoffs.
I know they're a terrible team. But you see what happens is that, like, if you're that good of a team, that's what you should do to a really shitty team. And now San Francisco's a very good team. Very good team. I'm not putting anything past them, but there has to be, like, when you sit there and you do the rundown of, a long time ago on ESPN Radio, Tony should remember this. Golick and Green used to sit there and do confidence picks. And they used to go down coaches, offensive players, defensive players, et cetera, et cetera. And I think, like, when I go down that list, I see, I don't know, it's a lot closer than people think it is. Because when Dallas plays well, Dallas is a really, really good team. And I
Really
hate
good
saying it as a
team.
Phillies fan. They're a really
Yeah.
good team. I think, I don't know, like, I think the San Francisco being home, that's the edge that they have in this game. So, I'll take San Francisco, but I'm taking them the same way that Nick is taking the Eagles versus the Giants. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I hear you.
Like I would not be surprised if Dallas goes in there and they beat them 27-17. That wouldn't surprise me at all. And I think there's just like that pendulum thing. Like, Purdy's due. He's due to have one of these games where he just doesn't look good. You know what I mean? It's
It's like what you were just saying, the 49ers should win
Right.
the way that
They
they've
should
been playing.
win.
They
Yep.
should win, but the
Mhm.
Cowboys could go in there
Yeah.
and pull out the upset. They could
Yeah.
do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like,
Yeah.
if things
I
go, if the stars line up, the
Yeah.
Niners are winning.
Yeah,
You know
I think out of all the games this weekend, for me, that's the toughest one to pick, because you gave Dallas a good bit of confidence coming out of Tampa. They're playing well. They played on grass. Now they're going out to San Francisco. They're going to be facing this young quarterback who's in the biggest game of his life. Front four Dallas and Parsons are going to be eating them up. I mean, I don't know. I'm uneasy, but I'll take San Francisco for my, pick of integrity, but I'm not going to sit here next Wednesday and be surprised if San Francisco goes in and, lays an egg because Purdy's, deer in headlights.
But then you can say the same exact thing about San Francisco coming into Philadelphia. And then the week after that, I don't know. What
I'll give everybody the kiss of death right now. The whole, like, if If everyone's healthy and shows up in Philadelphia, there's no reason why they shouldn't be in the Super Bowl. They're just nah. Even San Francisco, man. Come on, you're not going to go into Philly. Philly, like the Phillies fans were like shanking people in the parking lot against the Giants. I'm talking about Eagles fans. People going to be tailgating for like 2 straight days.
Mm-hmm.
I believe
You're
it.
setting like cars on fire and shit.
They better not, because what they're going to need to do if they want to stay in sports is they're going to need to get in them cars and drive down to Clearwater for spring training after that championship game. The season will be over. There'll be no more sports.
No, I don't think so.
Unless they watch the Flyers or the Sixers.
No, that's all right.
Brady, what's he do? What's Tom Brady going to
do? I don't know, bro.
Man.
I've read that, you know what I mean? There's talk about him and the Dolphins. Considering that he last year was, the Dolphins got fined last year with the owner taking him out on the boat, and Flores ratted them out. You know what I mean? So it's no doubt that the owner wants Brady over there. And with Tua getting these concussions and all, you know what I mean? Give him some time off. Let Brady do his thing. He can sit behind Brady, watch Brady for a little bit. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be no long contract, maybe a 2-year thing. But, man, that's what I've read.
Yeah, he's not going to be in Tampa. That's for sure.
I don't think so. Not after this meltdown.
No.
But you know what, man, too? I think in this whole divorce had his head screwed up. The way that he's been talking to his players, you know what I mean? Like I told you in the beginning when we started this whole casting thing, like dude, you can't be talking to your offensive line like they little kids and shit. You know what I mean? Even when you're coaching little kids, one little kid gets mad at the quarterback or whatever, he ain't blocking for his ass. He ain't doing nothing for him.
Yeah. Now Brent's making a good point saying that he's going to wind up over Miami because that's where 2 of his kids live. It depends how much time he gets with the kids.
Plus he's got his house there that he just had built. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's got Giselle living across the water on the other side and keep his eyeball on her.
I have a pretty unique take. I haven't heard anybody say yet about it.
I think the first team that popped in my mind was Indianapolis. That was the first team that popped in my mind when I thought about, hey, where's some place where he could go that is like pretty much set up for just a decent quarterback to come in and play. I mean, Matt Ryan was a joke. They did the whole Wentz thing, mortgage the farm. And I was like, maybe he could go and he could play with Indy. He's got a good running back, halfway decent line. He'll be okay. But I don't know. It's not going to be Tampa. It's not going to be anything out west.
I don't think that Brady settles for that, dude. Brady wants to go somewhere where he knows he's got primetime receivers he can throw the rock to, and that they're in some sort of a position to make a push.
Joe Q's saying the Saints. Saints got a lot of weapons on offense. He needs to go to a place that is established that just needs someone to not push him over the edge, but be a little upgrade from what they had. Tennessee, right? I mean, give him Derrick Henry as a running back. Give him a decent defense. Offensive line, great receivers in South End. Yeah, I mean, I like Ezeki in Miami. The receivers are balling out.
Dude, that receiver duo over there is unbelievable.
How about
two receivers that running
the Raiders
4 threes and shit. Right. You got receivers running 4-3 on either side of you.
Yeah. Let's look at it from his perspective. He will go nowhere where he will embarrass himself. He's built on the ego id spectrum.
He'll show when he took Sunday hurt him more than anything else.
Yep, more than anything else. Yep.
Yeah, that was a beating, dude. Yep. And I don't even think he had ever gotten a beating like that.
I think the bigger conversation outside of Brady is like, where does Aaron Rodgers wind up? Because Aaron Rodgers has got 2 seasons left in the tank. He's got some life left in his arm. He's got a little bit of.
I take him for a season or 2.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, where does Rodgers?
I know where he's going. He's going to the Palm Beach Capos. Amateur football team based out of Palm Beach County. 18 and older. He fits right there. It's a team of second chances. I mean, both Brady and Rodgers can both use second chances at this point. they help guys. I talked to Bryn today, and what they're doing. I don't want to get personal, but it's just amazing what he's doing for people, not on the football field, but to get them on the football field, to help them off the football field. I mean, the goal is to help young men become highly functionable members of society. Check them out. If you missed last week's show, you can watch it on demand, but look up www.palmbeachcapos.com. You can find them on Facebook, also on Instagram. And Bleacher Brothers has committed to be a sponsor, and we're going to help a few guys. We're going to pay, if you were on last week and you heard, there's a $200 fee that these players have to pay, and we're going to cover a few fees for some of these players that
They'll give them back.
Can't cover it themselves, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I either one of them, Aaron Rodgers could probably even F up the Palm Beach Capos, though.
You think so?
Yeah, man, I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan. He's a great big crybaby, fucking whiny.
You know what? Let me bring a little perspective to this. And I saw this the other day, and I had to do like a humongous double take on it, but it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Hold on. Here we go. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Both of these quarterbacks, if you've seen it before in the chat, you can shout it out. If not, you guys, it'll be a lesson learned. Both of these quarterbacks played in the NFL or have played in the NFL for 18 seasons. One of them has 1 Super Bowl appearance and 1 win. One of them has 3 Super Bowl appearances and 2 wins. One has 13 playoff wins. One has 12 playoff wins. One is the number 5 all-time passing leader. One is the number 9 all-time passing leader. One has 41 fourth quarter comebacks, which is 3rd all time. The other one has 21 fourth quarter comebacks. One of them has 0 500 passing yard games. The other one has 4. One of them has 149 wins. The other one has 166 wins. Who are we talking about?
Rodgers and Favre?
Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers and Ben Roethlisberger.
Big
Ben has 17 more career wins, 2 more Super Bowls, 20 more fourth quarter comebacks, 4 more 500-yard games, and 1 more playoff win. We never talk about Roethlisberger being in that conversation of that realm. But I mean, it's I had to look at it.
If I'm not mistaken, they've made the playoffs every year since Tomlin, except for this year, I think, right?
He's never had a there you go, Jackie. Yeah, he's never had a losing season.
Yeah,
Tomlin never had a losing season, and I
Hey,
think they made the playoffs.
You saw that clip this week when the guy Tomlin was coming out of the locker room and he's like, "Hey, Tomlin," he goes, "I'm fucking working." he's walking by the guy. He just wants him to acknowledge him. And he's recording. He's like, hey, and he's looking at some papers as he's walking. And then, "Hey, Tomlin," he says something, and Tomlin looks at him, "I'm fucking working."
Well, you know why people don't think of the two of them together?
Why?
Is because Roethlisberger was not a look at me fucking guy, and Rodgers is.
Yeah,
Rodgers in every TV commercial. He's on every freaking Pat McAfee show saying all kinds.
I don't know.
I think
Ben could have got there. That whole rape allegation, or the hell that he got into, that fucked him up. Because up until that point, you know what I mean? Ben was a little bit talk of the town, a little bit, because, you know what I mean, they were doing what they were doing. But I just think that whole thing that happened with him, with whatever it was, some sexual misconduct that he did with some chick or some shit.
Yeah,
that put him in the shadows. You know what I mean? I think the media and NFL kind of we need to take the light off of this.
Yeah. Well, then Rodgers did the same thing when he was not getting the vaccine and stuff like that. And he kind of bucked the system, and Roger and the boys didn't like that, but
right.
He stood by his decision.
I think vaccine and sexual assault are two different.
No, but I'm just using the sense of who they want to promote, because it's obviously subjective to the time and the occurrence of what it is. I mean,
of course,
Roethlisberger had the motorcycle accident, then he had this snafu in the club with the girl. Rodgers now, I mean, he's been through Danica Patrick. He's been through Olivia Munn. He's been through that Racha Vagetsky chick or whatever her name was, right? Yeah, I mean, he's he's
I
got a
like
list.
Danica Patrick. I
Hey,
think she's sexy, dude.
hey,
I like any girl who drives a car real fast or rides a motorcycle.
Listen
she
to
can
Nick. His wife is out of town on
she can
business. He's
tune
talking
your
about
engine. I'm
the
sure.
race car
Oh
drivers.
yeah, I say that shit. I say that shit if my wife was here. My wife knows I don't shy away from that.
So we're talking about Roethlisberger. Let me switch sports for a minute.
Go ahead.
Trevor Bauer. Somebody going to pick him up? They can pick him up for minimum wage.
I thought that I read that the Yankees were thinking about it. You know what I mean? But
This is a guy who was accused.
You know my position on this. You know my position on this.
What's your position?
You know my position on this. Everybody makes money off of 50 Shades of Grey. And then you finally have a relationship in a higher echelon of individuals within your society and it gets exposed. People are on board with it while it's happening because everything's all honky-dory. And the minute that the relationship becomes, well, we're not going to go any further than just it is what it is, people all of a sudden find their morals and their ethics and blah, 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 blah. You know, it's not here to judge anyone in what they did. I'm not here to prove or disprove any sort of allegations, but the law ran its course and said that there's going to be no criminal prosecution for whatever reason. The civil suits, I don't know what's going to go with the civil suits. I mean, Deshaun Watson's paying for stuff, not only covering his ass, but covering a lot of other people's butts way up the food chain higher than him. You know, it's the old saying that, like, people love to talk about stuff until it's time to do stuff. And then when you do stuff and you consent and you're inside of that whole arena, listen, if hit the, tap out, literally walk away, that's cool. But like you make a conscious decision to, get into something. You can't, like, we've spent too much time trying to have our society and our legal system correct some of the poor decisions that we've all made as a society, and I think it just comes back to, like, people need to take ownership sometimes for what they get involved in. I've done it. Like, tons of people have taken ownership of the stuff that they've gotten into. Again, if you're going to make money off of 50 Shades of Grey and you're going to fantasize it, you're going to romanticize it, and people are going to talk about it, and you're going to sell books about it, and you're going to, say it's okay in this light. And now you actually have someone who's likened to that Christian Grey character because he has $230 million. And he has a trove of individuals who are his, whatever they call them in that realm or whatever. I'm not into it. It's like you pay to play the game with wherever you're at. And like, there's lines that shouldn't get crossed. Absolutely. I mean, I've got daughters. I've been like, hey, listen, there's definite lines that you shouldn't cross. But if two adults, I mean, how many times did you hear growing up, like, oh, so-and-so was stepping out with so-and-so and so-and-so was stepping out with so-and-so and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you got two people, two adults, they're making decisions. It's not right. It's not right. They're hurting people, blah, 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 whatever. But you know what? They're making that decision. It's like, it's not my place to judge them. Now, if it gets to a level of being a criminal matter, then sure, you get to judge that person. They have laws in place for people to be held accountable to. But just because someone indulges in a particular fetish or whatever, and the other person indulges in that fetish too, and then it's like, hey, I'm not going to date you anymore. Or, hey, I'm going to move on to my next person. It's like hard left. But it's like the whole thing going on with the U.S. men's national team with the soccer. You have an incident between the men's soccer coach and his now wife of 25 years and 4 kids that takes place when he's 19 years old in the 90s. He went out one night. He was drinking. He kicked the girl. They worked it out between the two of them. Nothing was ever filed with it. But his wife's roommate happens to be Claudio Reyna's wife. He had a snafu and dust up with their son, who's on the national team. He said, listen, you don't want to play the game the way I want to coach it? You're not going to play. Mom got her hair up in her ass, so she ran out, told USA Men's Soccer, hey, Brian so-and-so had this incident back when he was 19, and blah, 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 blah. Well, there's a domestic violence investigation, something that took place 32 years ago, between the same woman that he's married to for 25 years, and you hang out with these people, and you raise your family with this same family. It's like, at what point are we going to say, when you make a decision, if it doesn't reach this level here, there are consequences and reactions to these decisions. It's like if I'm going skydiving, I can't sue the place if I injure myself when I land skydiving. I mean, I'm not trying to go from like a sexual assault or what happened between Bauer's situation to skydiving, but I'm trying to draw the parallel between like at what point do we put the onus and the responsibility back on the people that involve themselves in the decisions that are being made? Yes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So everybody gets fucking freaky. I don't care.
Right.
And you know what? It's none
Exactly.
of your business.
Right.
If Nick likes to get down with his wife and he likes to get kicked in the balls and stomped on the eyeballs and his beard pulled and all that crap, and he gets a black eye, if he likes that and it's between two consenting adults, then
that's it.
But what this Bauer thing was a flat out fucking shakedown of here's a guy with hundreds of millions of dollars. He's not returning my phone calls anymore. I liked getting punched in the face or my hair pulled or whatever the hell it was because I kept going back and now he's not returning it. I'll show him. File charges. LA. I know a little bit more than I wish I did about the LA County Prosecutor's Office and what goes on there. They did not press charges. They investigated this and they said there's no crime. The restraining order. They said no. So that's it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Story. Baseball overstepped. He never should have got suspended. I'm glad that the Dodgers still have to pay him, and I hope he goes and pitches for the Padres and pitches them right past the fucking Dodgers. I know the guy is an asshole. Everybody says
sure. For sure. For sure.
But so what? He's an asshole. Doesn't make him a fucking criminal, and his whole fucking career in life shouldn't be ruined because some fucking skanko tried to shake him down.
And even
any questions?
and listen, and not even to like and not even to like throw the judgment out on the young lady or the young ladies. But to your point, AJ, it's like
she's not a young lady. She was a fucking skanko, bro. She's not a skanko because of what she did with him. That's her business. She's a fucking skanko for trying to shake him down for the money and ruin his life.
Yeah, and unfortunately, right, we've seen that's one instance, right? But we've seen so many times in our society where this has come back and come to the forefront. Like case in point, right? Vince McMahon, right? Supposedly he paid the one secretary or whatever like $5 or $6 million over so many years to kind of basically hush money. Because they had a relationship. Maybe there was a kid. I don't know the extent of it, but I know they had a relationship. And I know that he gave her X amount of dollars, blah, 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 blah. The point being is that he's now at the end of his career. He was forced out of the CEO position within his company because this other individual saw the light after how many years of millions of dollars. Like, you know what? I need one final, because you can't tell me any different. Like, I need one final big check from this person because now this is going away. And I don't want any of this coming out, in the light. So I'm going to threaten AJ. AJ, you better give me more money or I'm going to blab this all over the place. It's like, we just had an agreement between two adults for the last how many years?
That's just the way things is now, though, dude.
And that's what I'm saying.
That's the way it is.
Which is,
you know what I mean? Anybody who knows you got money or whatever, they're just waiting to be around you at the right time, right point, just to fucking do what they need to do to get a little piece of the pie.
Yeah, I know. Which goes back again to a lot of point, what, Bryn was saying about the community and the cancel culture. No one has a closet without skeletons, right? No one has, a drawer without the little moths and stuff flying around in it. But what you grow and what you build as a community, and you actually invest in one another, invest in, this idea and this movement, and you see the true merit and worth and matter of the people that you are moving with. And this is universal. You can sit there and say like, hey, dude, so-and-so down the street's not the greatest person in the world because they might have this vice and that vice. But you know what? At the end of the day, that guy shows up. This girl shows up. They pay their bills. They handle their business. Yeah, when they were a kid, they did something stupid, but that doesn't make who they are now. And you need that to come forward because what are they doing? They're going back to political figures from like the 80s when they were in college, when they're dressing up all sorts of crazy ways. Shit, in the 80s, that was acceptable. Now, if they're walking around doing it right now, yeah, you know what, dude, red flag. But you're going to try to burn somebody for something that they did 30 years ago when at the time
their maturity level was on another level.
But even the
life
society
was on
wasn't
another
like
level. Yeah.
like there's things, case point, there's things that my older relatives, whether it's right or wrong, will come off and mouth and say because that was the lexicon, that was the language of their time. That's what they don't know anything else. You can try to say, hey, it's not going to change them. Now, if I come out and I start dropping, slurs, I start dropping all these, no, that wasn't how I was raised. That wasn't what I was brought up. I'm aware of this.
It's like I was saying, I was talking at work one day, like I don't know, a week or two ago, and we were just talking about old TV shows and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, dude, if like All in the Family was still playing now, and the
Sure.
Jeffersons, with all the racial things that they used to say at that time, forget it. That show their pilot would have been canceled the first night.
It's complete irony because because Rob Reiner, who is like the biggest guy, and I'm using him as an example because he's out there. Like he was on All in the Family.
Right.
He played Meathead for a reason, and yet now he's complete 180 from that character environment, so to say. Like he was a little bit of like the bridge for like the Carol O'Connor character, blah blah. But the point being is that you would never be able to create that sort of sitcom television screenplay nowadays without prefacing it with this is a period piece to draw attention to the possible ramifications, blah 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 blah, of this behavior that we still deal with today. That's how you have. That's
a quote from Trevor Bauer. I got a clip from Trevor Bauer. Quote:
I can put you on the brain. I always do.
I thought it was going to be Joe that plays in South. I thought you were going to play. Excuse me while I whip this out.
Nah, I don't have that. Wrong show.
Wrong show.
I got so many spaces here for clips.
Hey, what's going on? What do you guys going to boxing real quick? What do you think of this Gervonta and Ryan Garcia?
I don't know. I wanted to talk to you about Gervonta a few weeks ago when we were on our little hiatus when he had his issue, but then he came out and clobbered that guy who was fighting. I don't know. I'm not. I got to look at it. I got to do some research. I'm not connected the way I used to.
That's going to be a good fight, man. That's going to be a good fight.
Who was it? The Garcia guy, right? He was taking all the shade online.
Hector Garcia.
Yeah,
Hector Garcia is the guy he fought.
Yeah,
dude, he hit that dude so hard that he couldn't see out of his right or left eye.
That's what I was.
And then he walked to the wrong corner. Referee directed him to the right corner. And then when he got there, he told his coach, "I don't know where I'm at."
Yeah,
that fight was in Fort Lauderdale, right?
No. That fight was in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
That was one. That's
where Gervonta's from. He's from. He's from Baltimore.
They had those clips like all over social media, like I'm gonna take you out. You shouldn't be fighting me, and like no reply. It's like ding ding. Bye. Good night.
Dude, that dude got hit hard, bro.
The one thing,
really hard.
Poetic justice.
One thing
right
I'm
there,
following with boxing, which I think is a goof, is Deontay Wilder, I guess, committed to fight what's his fat Mexican Rocky? What the hell's his name?
Oh,
Ruiz, and now he's trying to weasel out of it because he can't.
But
beat
he wants
Ruiz.
Joshua. He wants Joshua.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody cares about that. But what I read the other day is he wants to fight Joshua. But if he beats either one of these guys, he becomes number one ranked contender, and he's the mandatory challenger for Tyson Fury. Why do we give a shit about that again? We saw it 3 times, and all 3 times Deontay lost.
I mean, he's a loss, but dude, that dude's got so much power, bro. You know what I mean? He's got to me, he's got no boxing. To me, I like him. You know what I mean? I like what he brings to the table. He's a real humble and nice guy from what I read and from what I heard from people. But He's got no real he's got no boxing.
He can't box. He
I
can't
don't know.
fight. All he can do is
Yeah,
he can hit you with a thunderbolt. That's all he can do.
But dude, he's got a right hand that will he'll hit you today and you'll feel that for 3 months. You
But
know what I
that's
mean?
why you don't want to see him fight Fury again. He already hit Fury with that punch.
I know, and he
And he
woke up
couldn't
like a
put him out.
zombie.
But he couldn't put him out.
No doubt, no doubt. But I think he feels that he can still. I think he thinks he can beat him. But that's also the biggest payday for all three of them. Anyone who's going to get a chance at Tyson is a huge payday.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, at that stage in the game when you're fighting at that top like that, it's about the money. Because now you got this guy going back to Gervonta Davis. You got the guy Raleigh that he fought and knocked out, and he was supposed to whoop Gervonta, and that didn't happen. You know what I mean? So, but this Ryan Garcia kid, he's got super fast hands, bro, and he's got power. He's got bigger reach, more height. But I'm telling you, that Gervonta Davis, I don't know, he figures it out, and he hits hard.
Is he a money team guy still?
No,
Not anymore.
He left that. Nope,
Okay.
he left that. He's not with that no more. I just read today that Hearns, the promoter Hearns or whatever,
Uh-huh.
he tried to sign him and asked him to sign him, and Tank ain't interested in that.
Yeah.
He's learned enough. He's learned enough of Mayweather's blueprint to promote himself.
Do it on
You
your
know
own.
what I mean? Oh hell yeah, hell yeah, bro, hell yeah. And he's making good money, man. Big fights.
Sure.
So there's the spring training.
Yes, sir.
In
Coming
a
up.
month. Can you?
Baseball just finished, and that shit just how it's ready around the corner.
Yeah, Duncan? I know you're doing a lot of I know you'll be in Florida in a few days, and then you're going to be over in Arizona, and then. But if you can work, 3, 4 days, 5 days in your schedule in March, and then Nick, if you can swing like a Friday or a Monday, we could hit the road and hit 4 or 5 sites and
Let's do it.
I only have one requirement in my travels. I need to go to Ford's Garage again. That's the only thing that I have to do.
Yeah, I saw your girlfriend at Ford's Garage yesterday, man.
I got a phone call. It's like I seen your girlfriend. I'm like, girlfriend?
I was trying to get that text that there's no cell service in Ford's Garage. Right?
There's none.
What's Ford's Garage?
It's pretty cool, man.
Over in Cape
Like a
Coral.
chain. It's pretty cool, yeah.
What is it, like a sports bar?
It's like a garage.
Yeah,
like
Ford's
Ford.
garage, yeah.
Picture a garage that works on Ford. So everything is like the napkins are wrapped in, what do they call it? The O-rings or whether the and then toilets or kegs cut out.
Really?
Will you wash your hands in the bathroom? It's a gas, it's a pump, gas pump. Yeah, it's crazy. It's kind of cool. The food was pretty, but it's like burgers and stuff like that.
I got you.
It's a cool sports bar.
Never heard of it.
I never heard of it either until yesterday, but apparently there's a few of them.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we have to get one over here. But yeah, there's a lot. That's in Cape Coral and Fort Myers. So I know the Red Sox play there, the Twins play there. We got the Phillies and the Yankees both in Clearwater and Tampa. So, I did that one year, and it was the most fun I ever had as far as baseball, going to spring training. So we got to go on tour with that.
So, hey, like, aside from the obvious people going back into spring training that's coming up soon, I know we're talking a lot of NFL action, but anybody you're excited to see coming up this next season outside of, like, the big guys?
In baseball?
Yeah.
I haven't really put that much thought into it yet, man. I know that this guy, is it Pinter, is the number 1 pitching prospect in all of baseball, the Phillies guy.
Yeah.
And then Abel, I think his name is number 8. I think the Padres they're going to be good. They're going to be really.
They've been on the rise the last.
Stay off the PEDs, Tatis.
Yeah, but they're going to be really good, even without Tatis. I mean, it's like an all-star team at every single fucking position.
Yeah, they're good. They've been on the rise for a minute. I read today that the Yankees just signed some Cuban kid for like $4.4 million. I just read that today. Yeah.
Yeah, like the number 13, 12 or 13 prospect, something like that, or 4 prospect, something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling
They
you,
just signed him today.
I haven't picked out like a baseball player in a while to really like want to follow, you know? And the Rasmussen kid from Baltimore, the catcher, Andy Rasmussen or whatever, he's the real deal, man. He is the real freaking deal. He is number 2 in the rookie of the year voting behind the kid from Seattle, but started like the majority of their games last year as a rookie, batted, decent numbers for a catcher, good offense, big arm. He just looks like, a kid that's going to have a long major league career. We're going to see him time and time again over the next 15 years. And Baltimore, man, don't sleep on the Orioles, man. Don't sleep on the Orioles.
Yeah, that whole division's a little bit overrated. The Yankees still got major problems. I mean, they should have some good pitching, but they got problems. Their offense.
They hit their way to a division last year. That's all.
Toronto is just they're Toronto. They're not going to win. It doesn't matter. They could have 9 Babe Ruths on that team, 9 Otanis, and they're still not going to win.
They almost do.
And the Mets, I can't wait for them. The Mets will be in shambles by the All-Star break. You get your starting rotation. The average age is 37 years old. I mean, come on, give me a break.
On the Mets?
Yeah, Scherzer's 40. Verlander's 40. I mean, come on. I but what I'm looking forward to is for me, the best time of the year for sports is coming up. And it's not the Super Bowl, it's after the Super Bowl. Spring training, the end of spring training, then you roll and you get the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
Then you roll into Cinco de Mayo weekend, which is always one of the biggest boxing fights. Or at least it used to be one of the biggest boxing fights in the year.
Yeah, you always had that some type of Mexicans fighting on that day.
Yeah, or Mayweather. Mayweather took it over. Cinco de Mayweather a few years.
Yeah,
but the same day is always the Kentucky Derby, and I'm a huge horse racing fan.
Oh yeah.
And I got Joe on my radar because I know Joe's a big horse racing guy.
Oh yeah.
So when we get close to there, yeah, I'm down to have Joe in there. I love. Remember Nick did a video one year live from the Kentucky Derby, but it was actually in my living room. Remember that?
Yeah. But what's his name? My wife's boss has horses, and he invites us out to he invites us out to Gulfstream every once in a while.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we get to stand out there like we own the horses and shit with the fucking big boss when they walk them around and. We walk up, you know what I mean? And if they win, we get to stand out there for the picture and stuff.
Hold this drink, don't say anything.
But and then one day, AJ, when we get a tip or whatever, we could ride out there and fucking, check it out.
I'm down. I could use a day. I could use like a week at the horse track.
Yeah.
I need to You guys see my face? Can you see what's going on with my face?
Yeah, you're looking all red and stuff.
Yeah, my crack pipe blew up in my face when I was smoking it, man. It's horrible.
I thought you said Lenny wasn't in town, dude.
Yeah, he was hanging out with him on the low.
Too much. We love you, Lenny.
I got a dermatology thing that went horribly wrong. So that's why it's dark.
Did you do one of those like a little roller things?
No, it's a cream. Yeah. It's a cream, and it went wrong.
Is it the proactive stuff though? Because that's supposed to happen.
No. This is it's a prescription. It's from the dermatologist. This shit is skin cancer or pre-skin cancers. But we had to stop it because 2 days ago I was like a tomato. My face was this big, swollen. I felt like I was going to puke. I felt like I had 112 fever, but I didn't. So we had to stop it. They put me on a steroid, and now we got to let it calm down so that a month from now we can do it all over again.
Oh, that's good. Really? That's good.
Just decapitate me and stick like a Cabbage Patch head on my shoulders. I'm good to go, man.
Like we know what not to use at this point.
But I did notice that, dude.
Yeah, no,
you look like you're in pain.
Right now, I am a little bit, but 2 days ago, I mean, seriously, I was like, I could have cried.
Really?
I was like,
I could come over there and kick you in the nuts, and you'll forget about the pain in your face.
There wasn't enough weed or oxys in the world for me 2 days ago. The way I felt, man. It was nuts. So
just wait till Sunday night. You and Brock can hold each other.
You know what you should do?
Come closer, son.
No, you know what? We'll save it for next week. We'll save it for
All right,
next
save it
week
for next
when the
week.
Niners play the Eagles. I'm gonna take your money then. I'm not gonna take your money against
All right.
Dallas. This is a cool show. I had fun tonight. Looch had a last minute family emergency. That's why he wasn't here. I believe that. Are you gonna be with us Wednesday night next week or no, Duncan?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I should, right?
When are you going to Disney?
Oh yeah, that's right.
God, I gotta think ahead for
I'm
everybody.
so busy, man. I swear to God.
So
it's
you
crazy.
coming to Orlando?
Coming to Orlando? No, 25th. No, I should be good. I'm leaving on 26th in the morning.
All right. So you want to do the show the night before?
Yeah, I mean, like, why wouldn't I?
Okay. All right.
You know,
Just
like,
checking.
what am I gonna do?
I don't know. You're texting me all this code word shit earlier. Hard out. I'm
Hard
like,
out.
speak English.
Hard
What the fuck are you
out.
talking about? You coming on or not?
Hard out.
Hey, no, this is a great show. I appreciate everybody listening. That was really cool having Bryn on, and I'm pretty pumped. These mice people, these mice, they come strong, bro.
Can I give a quick shout out? Let me. I'm gonna get this exactly right because it was really, really wonderful help and just big on the community. So at mice_Kev_N and of course Phil777 walked me through sort of this little snafu crypto wallet problem I have with Crossmint because I first ran the mice purchases through like the credit card side because I didn't have a crypto wallet set up and I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I really want to be in on it. So, I got mine. I was like, now I need to take it from here and put it somewhere else. And again, these guys, these girls, Wambies in the chat, like they know exactly what they're talking about, and they will help you get to where you got to get to, put it in the right place. I now have a MetaMask. I think that's what it's called, MetaMask. But soon I'll be moving all of my little mice from the Crossmint world over to the MetaMask, and then I can start re-upping.
I gotta warn you. We
Yeah.
don't do masks in Florida. So when you come down here next week, leave your MetaMask or whatever the fuck it's called at home. We don't. DeSantis said no masks in Florida.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's on the chain, man. It's all this new lingo. It's on the chain. It's on the chain.
Yeah.
Well, hey, speaking
It's
of
on the block.
I need to put my crypto in a crypto wallet.
I had no idea what the. I'm just like it's just sitting there. I'm like, what do I do with it?
I buy and I don't even know what else. I just I buy a little here, buy a little there, and I don't even. They're like, yo, man, are you putting it in a safe place? And I'm like, yeah. How safe?
All this guy. He's like, there's a seed key. Don't lose the seed key. You can't get it back. You'll never get in it again.
I don't know.
I'm like, so this is the codes that everybody's losing, around the world. And he's like, yeah, it's them. I was like, all right. So I start like Googling, like, what is a seed key? What should I do? And it's like, write this down, write it 2 times, put it in a safe, put it in a safe deposit box, sleep with it. Don't wet.
A crypto, there's like a crypto chip or something where I can transfer all my thing into that just in case if something crashes or gets stolen, I have it on there and they're like, yo, put that in a safe deposit box or whatever.
Have you guys been listening to me? Have you been buying Ethereum for the past 3 months when I keep saying
I've been buying
get Ethereum because it just went from in the past. And it's crazy. The day of the mint, it went from 1,100 up to, it was close to 1,600 today. It's down a little bit right now, but
yeah, Bitcoin went up too.
The horn was like still under 1,000 when you started talking about it.
Bitcoin was like at 17,000 and went up to 22,000.
Hey! Listen, I got $20,000 to throw around here.
Yeah, but you buy fractional shares of that shit.
Fractional's okay. So that's another thing too. It's like you can buy fraction things. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Take a little bit of pie. No, it's not that shit.
Yeah, you don't need to buy a whole coin. You can buy fractions of that shit.
Yeah, I thought you had to buy the whole coin.
No, I did too when I first started, and then somebody was like, "Nah, man, you can buy fractions."
Listen, this is gotta be for another time, or maybe a space. Maybe these guys are gonna do it sometime later on. Everybody says mining.
Yeah, dude. People just know somebody that does that.
Like punch buttons all day to see if they make a coin or something like that. Is that what you do?
No. Supposedly, mining is like on these servers or something that specifically deal with that coin. Yeah. And then they put out a signal, and then that signal feeds to other people that are trying to get, to buy the coin, feed that coin or whatever. So when people are hitting off of your tower, you're making money. You know,
Yeah.
that's the small of what I got out of it because I knew this guy that I used to work with that does that shit. And the
All right.
higher you are,
Uh-huh.
the better your chances of making money.
Because I've seen, you know, they show those things like on like CSI or like the Las Vegas shooting, and they got these warehouses, and people are just desk upon desk upon desk, and people are just
Dude,
sitting there mashing away all day.
talking about what you're talking about. The kid that became rich off of the Bitcoin, this kid, he
Yeah.
took all his money that he won Bitcoin and he bought this piece of property like out in the desert or some shit in
Yeah.
Arizona or some crazy shit. Then he used all his money and he built like this aluminum fucking shed or some shit, but it was huge.
Right.
And threw big AC units in there, and dude, he's got so many servers in there that's ridiculous that when he turned it on, it made like a power outage and shit. You
Damn.
know, but that's all he's doing. He's making money off of mining.
All right, I'm out.
Hey, one of the shows that you want to check out is Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Just coordinate that wherever you are in the world. Retro Ads with Stephen Luker and Play Action Reel. The show is absolutely enjoyable. It's like a trip down memory lane. And then Dunkin Dad is on after Tony Bruno. Tony Bruno has got a Spaces and a No Filter on Thursday night. He's on Spaces and No Filter Friday night. Nick and I, at least Nick and I, will be back next Wednesday night. Possibly Duncan, and hopefully Looch will be back. And everybody have a good week, and let's go Niners.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Everybody have a safe weekend until next week.
Oh, let me get
I'll
some,
talk to you soon, AJ.
outro music here. What do we got? There we go. All right. Adios.
All right, man, AJ. You be safe, all right, bro?
All right. Later.
Later, bro.